fuck us around, screw this up, I'll be waiting.
What made you change your mind?
You gonna wanna know what I know.
Okay, so Godfather of Harlem season 4, episode 5. So we already got some very interesting things that happened in the show. So we got Frank Lucas. Now he's playing both sides between like the Genevieve family and with Joe Colombo. Like he's like feeding information to like both sides, but then it's like Bumpy Johnson is trying to build like Vegas and Harlem, and it's crazy because Chin wanted a piece of it, but he was like, no, he wanted something of his own, because it's crazy how greedy like the Italians are, because they like, hold up, a black man is building like a Vegas in Harlem and we don't get a cut of it. Oh, you must be out of your mind. We want in, we want a cut, we want a piece. And it's like Bumpy's like, no, because we seen him later go over to like Chin's place and he talks to Chin. I mean, not Chin, sorry, Joe Colombo. He talks to Joe and he was just like, yo, like, stay, like, why would you have one of my guys get killed like that? Because in the beginning, you had Frank Lucas trying to get some work, and that's when Joe was like, all right, I got something for you. Go over to go talk to Big Earl and have him pay me basically $1,000 a week. So that's when he goes over there to see him, and he's like, listen, I've been in the military, I fought in World War II, and I'm not giving Joe anything. So that's when Big Earl and Frank Lucas had like a scruffle, and that's when Frank stabbed him. He basically kills him, and then that's when he throws his body in like cement, so his body's like covered in cement. So you had like Chance and Pettigrew like talking, and that's when they was like, oh man, they discovered the body, and they was like, ah shit, like Big Earl got killed. So that's when they tell Bumpy about it. So that's when they go to, I think, Jersey to find like a different person who's gonna give them like the cement and try to like get things going for this project that he's trying to build. So he goes over to Stella, he talks to her about it. He like, listen, I need maybe some of your guys, and then we can come to like some sort of agreement. But then it's crazy because it's like, even though Stella made like an error of allowing Frank Lucas to live instead of like taking him out, but we understand why that doesn't happen. But she basically lets him live, and then that's when you see like Frank is kind of like playing both sides, because Frank Lucas is trying to get like a footing into like Harlem. Like, he's trying to figure out like how he's gonna move on his own. Now we do know, if anybody doesn't know, that Frank Lucas does do his own thing that's not affiliated with the Italians. Like, he's doing his own thing, but that's gonna come like way later. Like, that's gonna come like way later, like after, you know, what's gonna happen to Bumpy Johnson. If y'all may or may not know the story, so that's gonna come like way after that, where he's gonna like do his own thing for like a little while. But as for right now, like, he's trying to get like a footing into Harlem and trying to like do his own thing, but he's starting off at the wrong foot, because he's screwing over people or and playing both sides. Like, well, I got information here, but I got information over there. So I'm like, yo, Frank Lucas. So I like what they're doing, because they're trying to make this man into like a freaking menace, because they're not giving us the whole, all right, he just gets with Bumpy. No, they like, nah, fuck that. He's a menace right now. He's playing both sides. He's doing all this crazy shit. So like, shit. So you had that, and then you had like Elise go over to see Omar, and that's when Omar tells her about like he was being stabbed in prison, and because of the protection that Bumpy Johnson have, that nothing's gonna happen to Omar, because, you know, people haven't forgotten like what happened to like Malcolm X. And even though Omar was there to protect Malcolm X, it wasn't like he was there to kill him, despite like the first season or second season or so where he wanted to kill him and tried to kill him. But, you know, he's doing his 15 years, but he tells Elise, he's like, listen, stop coming here, stop coming to see me, because you don't understand how hard it is for a person who's going to spend like 15 years or longer, I believe. I forgot, I think he got like a life sentence of 15 years. I think 15 years in prison, but he's going to be in there for a very long time. And to know that he can't really be with Elise and see her, it's just, it hurts. So he's like, you have to move on. But we starting to see that she's going to move on with Sadiq, because they talk about, you know, bombing a police station, because Afeni was explaining like, you know, we're trying to like how to approach this situation of, you know, handling the police, but then everybody have like their whole discussion, because they was bickering at the table about like, you know, how they're gonna approach the situation. And that's when she Elisa suggested like maybe we should bomb the police station. Maybe we should use violence because these are the cops. They only know is about violence. So violence with violence. So that's when they have like a little vote there. But before that bit, you had her go over to Bumpy because she was trying to get like something from Bumpy, because Bumpy was like, listen, you my only daughter, you know, I can't really have anything happen to you. So that's when he gave her an ultimatum: either you drop the Panthers and you stay, but then she just leaves. And that's when she goes over there to the Panthers. And then that's when like Afeni and her have like a discussion about like her having cold feet, and that's when she was explaining to her like, you gotta stick with the Panthers, stick with the mission, because we was the ones that helped you when your daughter was getting beat up in school. So, you know, I really did enjoy all of this because it just showed you like how difficult it really was back in those times, because for a black person to even try to have anything, and you either getting hauled down by the police, or maybe you have one of your own turning you in because they have connections. So it's just it's so interesting to know that a lot of things that happened in the past, like I said, it doesn't, some of it still applies till today, because not everything from the past got cleaned up. No, you still got some trash that kind of like came over to the future, but it's not as bad as it was back in the days, but it's still there regardless. Just because you throw your trash away doesn't mean the sin is completely gone. But you know what I mean. But I like that bit. And then at the end, oh my god, the ending, like when you know, Frank told Joe Colombo, because at the time he rejected his offer, but then that's when he came back, because he was like, well, I got some information for you. So that's when they go over there to Jersey, because they was trying to stop this, like the cement, because they was trying to like stop the progress from happening. So that's when they had like a big shootout, and that's when you see Frank pull the gun on Chance. I literally thought he was gonna shoot Chance right there. I was like, no, don't you shoot Chance. I like Chance. Don't shoot him. I thought he was gonna do it, but I was like, they just take him along. So I'm like, oh damn. So that means he's gonna probably get, he's most likely kidnapped and gonna be held for ransom, because freaking Joe Colombo gonna probably be like, listen, you want your mans back, you are going to have to give me a part of the deal. If you don't, then your mans is gonna probably die. And I'm like, oh, I like Chance. But then Chance immediately knew, like, okay, Frank Lucas isn't dead, he's still alive. So I'm hoping Chance don't die, because I like Chance. Damn it, I like Chance. Chance is cool. I like Chance. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen in the next episode. But I was like, damn, he got him kidnapped. And that's when you see, you know, Pettigrew go over to where Bumpy Johnson was at, because he tells him like, yo, like someone's like Chance, like, you know, they got Chance. So he's just like, wait, what? So that's gonna happen, like, you know, that shit's gonna take place in the next episode for them to try to like get Chance back. But it's like, oh my god, like Frank Lucas is fucking, he's just doing too much right now. Now, the one thing that I like, the part when you had like Mamie and Alicia, where they was like talking about like James Baldwin in the beginning about, you know, I guess this not meeting, but like how he's gonna appear and I guess talk in front of the board and have like this innovative speech. And they was like, yeah, about the ghetto, yeah, we're going to have something very innovative about the ghetto and inspiring, invigorating. And it's like, you have people out there who, like, I don't know if it's like fakeness, but it's just, yeah, I don't know, it just bothers me for some weird reason, where they either fascinated or they just pretend that they're interested, but they don't care. But I don't know what you call that, because Mamie had to sit there and they just like, yeah, you know, like the ghetto and this and that, and it's just like, and it's just, oh man, like, you to sit there and to know that these people don't know shit. They don't know nothing about black struggle. They don't know nothing about black pain, but they just sitting there just to, you know, indulge in what's going on, but they have no clue of what's going on. That's like a white person trying to tell a black person how to be black and how their struggle is this. And you're like, motherfucker, you don't have this beautiful skin like we do. You don't understand the damn struggles that we go through. Like, well, back in those days and most of today, like you know, like you don't understand, like motherfucker, like how you come in here telling me some shit. So it's like, oh man, like that scene, I was cringing. I was like, shit, I was just cringing when I was seeing that. But now I do know that when they had like the discussion like between like Bumpy and Mamie, it was about like the whole he's trying to do his thing. But see, if he would have went to not the cemetery, but the spot where everybody was at, I mean, he could have got shot, but then Bumpy's able to handle himself, but then he would have seen Frank Lucas. But then the question is, it's like when he does see Frank Lucas, how is he going to handle this? Because he's going to probably tell Stella, like, yo, like, I gave you Frank, he's supposed to be dead, like an afterthought, like, why is he still alive? So I wonder how that explanation is going to be, because they're still trying to have Stella, like, she's trying to like still do her thing, but it's like she's sort of messing up, because it's like when Bumpy Johnson was explaining to her that, you know, Chin always agreed and sided with him because he can trust him. And the thing is with Stella, she's still, I wouldn't say getting her feet wet, but she's still in the learning process of it, because she haven't worked with Bumpy Johnson not that long. It's all of this stuff is still fresh for her. Between Chin and Bumpy, they have like a long-standing relationship with each other, which is why I think that maybe at some point in time Chin is going to probably come back, because Stella might fuck up really bad to the point where Chin has no choice but to come back. But I think for now it's just she's still, you know, getting her feet wet in this whole mob shit, and trying to like be the leader of it all, and trying to, you know, settle things cordially. But the problem is that you got Frank Lucas that's taking advantage. Now there's going to probably be a thing between her and Joe Colombo. They might have a thing, because since Frank Lucas is out here spreading the seeds, because he's trying to like take over. But I like what they're doing with the story, because we all know Frank Lucas is going to distance himself from the mob, and he's going to do his own thing. He's not going to be like affiliated with them like that. But the way that they're telling the story with Bumpy, as if he has to become affiliated with the mob again, but he doesn't, because he wants to build something for black people. Like, he wants to have something for black people. But the problem is, these greedy Italians, they want their hands in everything. They're like, oh, word. As soon as you hear some new kid on the block got the new latest bike, and they like, yo, word, yo, we want that. And you're like, nah, this is for black people. Like, we the only ones that can ride these bicycles. Nah, man, we want a cut. And that's exactly what it is. So it does make me think that I think Bumpy's not gonna probably get what he wants. I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna get like the Black Vegas, and he's not gonna get that, because too much interference. Despite him trying to do the right thing and not try to go down that path again, he's trying to do things differently, but I think it's gonna fail, and he's not gonna get what he wants. So I think it's just gonna be like a complete bust at this point. But I mean, overall, this episode was good. I liked it. It's just a lot of things that was talked about back in the 60s is again, it's crazy to me, because, you know, the struggles are even trying to have something, because especially like with today's you know, especially today, where you have like a lot of black businesses, and not saying there wasn't like any black businesses back in the days, but it was so much of a freaking hill to climb to even try to have anything, when, you know, there was like a lot of red herrings, like black people wasn't getting certain reinsurances as much as white people was getting. It was like harder times back then, because especially if you're trying to come up and they're like, man, we know who this. Nah, you ain't getting that. Nah, we need a white man up in here to have this type of business. Who are you? Nah, what's that on your skin? Nah, man, we need white and pale on this skin, motherfucker. We don't need this damn dark meat. Get that shit out of here. And that's how it was back then. So, man, I tell you, that shit was just, oh my God. But overall, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I catch you all in the next one.